In this segment from Isolation Radio Show 27, you will hear my review of Marriage Story, and if you want to hear more reviews and things like this, just subscribe to the YouTube channel and listen to Isolation Radio at the link shown on screen every 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. I am back to do a review of a film that is a Netflix film. It was released on Netflix, I think, in the UK in November last year, and it's called Marriage Story. And I was going to write the context myself, but I just copied and pasted what Google said because I didn't want to overcomplicate it or not describe it right. So just to give you the simplest context possible, a stage director and his actor wife struggle through a grueling coast-to-coast divorce that pushes them to their personal and creative extremes. And it stars Adam Driver, if you don't recognise the name, he plays Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars films, and Scarlett Johansson, and again, if you don't recognise her, she plays Black Widow in the MCU films, and they've both been in lots of the films as well, but they're quite recognisable at the moment because of those two roles, and they are the two leads of this film. This film is pretty much entirely about those two characters, and they do it really well. So, my thoughts on this film. The acting is amazing. Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson are at their best in this film. This is the best you're going to see them, unless they do something even better. But it's just amazing acting, and they are fully invested in these characters. The emotion and the story they create is great. And yes, there are other sideline characters because it's not just there's more people involved in this than just them two, including their kid Henry. But these guys are the mains you follow, and you follow them on their journey and feel a part of the heartbreak that ensues. And one thing that I like about this film is these people. You feel like you know who they are, even though the film's only a couple of hours long. The beginning of the film, what it does is it opens up with the narration of these letters that they've written about each other, and so you see a montage of each other with the other person narrating it, so you understand at least some things about the character before the film progresses. And the reason I liked that is because you're getting a feel for who the character is through the montage and the voiceover that's explaining who his person is, but because the voiceover is from the other character, you're finding out the opinion of each other from each other, if that makes sense. But it's just really clever, and you feel like you know these characters, and that's why I like it. You feel connected with them. So yeah, you understand some things about these characters right off the bat. You spend alone time with them. You're not with one of them for the entirety of the film and the other person is just a sideline character. You spend kind of equal time with both of them. So you might form an opinion on who's right in this sort of divorce, but then you'll see it from the other person's side and realise that the whole thing is balanced. You're just there to spectate what's happening. You don't really form an opinion because you feel like you know who they are, you feel connected with them, and you know each person's strengths and weaknesses, and you're there to sort of spectate what's happening. And if I'm honest, I felt I did kind of feel more connected to Adam Driver's character Charlie, or at least lean towards him, but I don't think the film was necessarily making you do that. The film was just you spectating these characters. I think it was just that me personally, I felt more for him, and that's not to say that Scarlett Johansson did a bad job. She did an amazing job. It's just that I leant towards him for some reason. I'm not really sure why, if I'm honest, but I did, and they're both incredible performances, and that's what I'm trying to get at here, really, is you connect with these characters, you feel like you know them, you feel like you know who they are, and that makes the journey and the heartbreak that ensues even more sad, really, and you feel even more a part of it. And one thing I noticed that kind of proves my last point is I didn't look at my phone throughout the entire film. I know it's kind of bad that I have to say that I'm proud because I didn't check my phone throughout the film, but often when I'm watching films, I will check to see if I've got any notifications or anything. But I noticed probably just under 2 hours into this film, I was like, I have not looked at my phone for nearly 2 hours, and I'm watching a film about a divorce. I just found that funny that me, a 16-year-old boy, could be immersed in a film about divorce and not want to check my phone. That just proves how amazing it is and how immersive it is and how connected you feel to these characters, because I did not check my phone once. I know it's bad that I'm saying that, but I didn't, and it was a really good film. And yeah, it really immersed me. You feel connected. The supporting actors were good as well. Ray Liotta was in it, Laura Dern, Alan Alda. They were really good too. And so was the actor who played their child, Henry, as well. He was good too. But the shining stars of this film was Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, and they each won awards for it and were nominated. And they shouldn't. It's an amazing film. The directing was good as well. There was actually some really long shots that didn't cut away, so you would focus on the one character and you'd get these really long monologues from them a couple of times. And it kind of, I think there's like one slow zoom on Scarlett Johansson at the beginning, and it's like a long monologue, and she's finally explaining why she wants to get a divorce. And they're really powerful, and it's a really clever and bold move. Often in films you don't get long shots because you're trying to progress and things like that, but there was this really long shot on a couple of these characters, and that really worked for me. The musical score was also really well done, and the reason I noticed it is because one of the first things I thought when I was watching the film, I was sat watching it and thinking, this is pretty good, and then I heard the music, and I was thinking, why am I getting Toy Story vibes from a film about divorce? Why am I getting that? And I looked it up, and the guy that wrote the score, Randy Newman, he also wrote the score for Toy Story and Monsters Inc., and that's exactly why I was feeling that. And I think I actually kind of guess why it sounds similar in a way as well, is because it's kind of like a family film. Well, it's not a family film, but it's about a family. And Toy Story has, friendship and similar elements to it. But I just got a Toy Story vibe, and I was wondering why. I looked it up, and it's the same bloke who wrote the score. And that is a positive for the film as well. The score is great. So I don't actually have any negatives. The only thing I'd maybe say is that I thought it was coming near the end of the film, and then it turned out there's quite a bit to go. But I don't really think that's a negative, and that's just me misconceiving how long I was into the film. And overall, this film is just filled with amazing acting, immersive performances, a story that brings you along for this traumatic and heartfelt ride and lets you spectate. It's a well-written script, it's well-rounded, there's really bumpy roads. In most films about divorces, there's lots of arguments. There's only one argument scene in this film, and it is heartbreaking. The directing is amazing, the musical story's really good, and overall, not surprised, this film, for me, is definitely a 5 out of 5 film. I was kind of at awe for a lot of the film, and it's so well done. We had a great year for films last year. 1917, Le Mans 66, Joker, Marriage Story, and there's still more I haven't seen from last year that I'm planning on seeing. And this film deserves all the praise it gets. It's just so interesting, so heartfelt. You feel so connected that it was really well done. And if you have time, check out Marriage Story on Netflix. Even if you don't normally like those sorts of films, I think you would probably like this film. It's a great film, and I definitely recommend it.
Isolation Radio.